Assalamualaikum students. We're going to start a new chapter, active and passive voice, which we started before but could not complete it, but I'm going to start it again. Okay. Now we have done tenses, present tense, past tense, future tense, continuous tense, perfect tense, and perfect continuous tense. You need to revise all these tenses, okay? In active and passive voice, which we started before, can anybody tell me what is an active voice before we start our lesson? Ji Faisal. Ji Faisal.
Miss, I don't want to tell you this, I don't know. But
Okay.
Miss, I want to ask you that, Miss, in previous class I have asked you that how much chapter have you done? Then you said that I have given you a list. Miss, that list I have given you a list, but Miss, the extra
Now,
chapter which
schools
that
are in now schools are going to open inshallah, then I will tell you. Okay, don't need to worry. Okay, but just make sure that your all work must be completed. All
yes.
the chapters which we have done, it should be completed. Okay? Yes, Fatma.
You were asking the definition of active voice.
Just the definition or simply what is an active voice?
Active voice is subject when the subject of the sentence is doing action.
Good, very good. Correct answer, Fatma. Now, students, active voice is when the subject is the doer of the action. When the subject of the sentence is doing an action, or when the subject is coming in the beginning of a sentence, then the verb is an active voice. For example, you can see these examples. The hunter killed a snake. I wrote a letter to my mother. Reba sweeps the floor. Who is doing the action in the first sentence? The hunter. Who is doing the action in the second sentence? I. And who is doing the action in the third sentence? Reba. The hunter, I, and Reba are the subject of a sentence and they are the doer of the action. So the word killed, wrote, and sweep are in active voice. Okay? So when the subject is doing the action or when the subject is the doer of the action, the verb is said to be in active voice. Okay? You can give so many examples. I learned the test. He rode a bike. I cooked rice. Any example, anything you can write. Okay? So this is active voice. Now passive voice. When the subject is not doing the action, but it is acted upon by the verb, means action is done upon the subject. Or in other words, we can say that a passive voice begins with the object. It starts with the object because the action, the subject is acted upon by the verb. It means the action is done on the subject. The action is not done by the subject. The action is done upon the subject. For example, in the first example, the hunter killed a snake. The hunter is the subject, killed is a verb, a snake is an object. Now in passive voice, before explaining the examples, I just want you to go through these rules. Number first rule, we have done this in class 7th as well. So I believe that you people might be knowing about these rules, some of these rules. Now, subject and object, the first main rule of changing active into passive voice, keep your notebooks or rough copies with you so that you can note down the important points. The first main rule is that subject and object exchange their places. It means that object comes in the beginning of a sentence and subject goes at the end of a sentence. Because when active voice, subject is doing in the action, and in passive voice, the subject is acted acted upon by the verb. So a subject goes at the end and subject and object exchange their places. This is the first rule. Second rule, we put helping verbs, different helping verbs. Like if it is present tense, we put is or am. If it is past tense, we put was, were. If it is future tense, we put will be, shall be. If it is perfect tense, we put has, have for present, had for past, and will have for future. Okay, I'm going to explain one by one. So don't be confused. Just keep this thing in your mind. Passive voice is incomplete without the helping verbs. It is extremely important that you need to put helping verbs in the passive voice. Okay. Then we put by. By means by whom. Who has done this thing? By whom something is done. So it's important that you are going to put by. So the four main things there are. Number one, subject and object exchange their places. Number two, we put helping verbs. Number three, we put by. And number fourth, we only put past participle. The only verb which is used in passive voice is past participle. That is the third form of verb. Remember, verbs, when we are writing the forms of verbs, we write them in four columns: present, past participle, and present participle. Okay, we have done this in non-finite verbs as well, that past participle is the third form of verb, like break, broke, broken. Broken is the past participle. Come, came, come is the past participle. Go, went, gone. Gone is the past participle. The verb which is coming on your third finger, it is the past participle. So remember that in passive voice, we always put the third form of verb, that is the past participle. Whatever the tense it is, either it is present, past, future, present continuous, past continuous, perfect, present perfect, whatever the tense is, you have to put only past participle in the passive voice. Okay. Now passive voice, now you will easily understand it. Look at the example. The hunter killed a snake. The most important thing is identification of a tense. Okay, otherwise you cannot change it accurately. If you cannot understand the tense, if you cannot identify a tense, then you cannot change it into passive. Students, the hunter killed a snake. It is simple past tense because killed is in past form. So it is simple past tense. Okay. Now the first rule. Object comes in the beginning. A snake. In simple past tense, we put the helping verb was or were. 1 second, Fatma. A snake was killed. The third form of killed is killed. Killed by whom? By the hunter. A snake was killed by the hunter. I wrote a letter to my mother. Now, students, there are two objects. Number one, a letter. Number two, my mother. Our concern is with the direct object. If you remember transitive and transitive verbs, and I've told you direct object is what actually the subject is doing. It is not important that you are putting the verb which is the object which is coming after the verb is direct object. It's not essential. So sometimes we put direct object after most of the time we put direct object after the verb. So a letter was written, the third form of wrote is written. A letter was written by me to my mother, or you can write a letter was written to my mother by me. You can rearrange as ever as you like. Okay. Riba sweeps the floor. Sweeps, simple present, because only in simple present it is telling about Riba's routine. Okay. It's her daily routine that she sweeps the floor. Simple present tense. So the floor in simple present tense, the helping verbs as I have shown you, the helping verbs are is are am. In simple past was were, and in simple future will be or shall be. Please note them down. Now you can look at the example. A snake was killed by the hunter. A letter was written by me to my mother. The floor is swept by a river. Now why is? Because it is in simple present tense. And killed and wrote both are simple past, so we are going to put was and were. Be very careful in that. Yes, Fatma? Yes, Fatma? I've unmuted you. Okay. Now, students, in active voice, the subject does the action. It comes in the beginning of a sentence. In passive voice, the subject is acted upon by a verb, and there are few rules. Number one, subject and object exchange their places. Number two, we put helping verbs. Number three, we put by. And number fourth, we put only past participle, that is the third form of verb. Okay. Okay, beta. Now, a simple slide. Active, what subject does. Passive, the focus is on the action. Okay, the main difference you can say. Two examples. Sally drove her car off. This off is wrong over here. Okay? Sally drove her car off the road. The dog bit Tommy on the arm. Drove is also in past tense. Bit is also in past tense. Okay. So it is in simple past tense. Now you have to look at the object. In the first sentence, the object is the road. You can see that Sally is the subject. Drove is the action, means the verb, and the road is the object. Then in the second sentence, the dog is the subject. Bit is the action. Sorry, in the first sentence, car is the object. Okay, and the Timmy is the object. Now you have to change it into passive. You have to put the object in the beginning. There are two objects, direct object and indirect object. Our main concern is with the direct object, because what actually Sally drove? She drove the car. Okay, so you are going to write the car. Now students, remember one thing. When we are changing into passive voice and there is his car or her car or their car, we are going to put the, okay, in the beginning. The car was, the third form of drove is driven. The car, because it is past tense, so we are going to put either was or were. Car is singular, so we have to put was. If it is cars, then we put were. The car was driven off the road by Sally. Okay? Timmy was bitten by the dog on the arm. Or you can write Timmy was bitten on the arm by the dog. Okay? Both ways are correct. Now students, when it is continuous tense, who is going to tell me how we are going to identify a continuous tense? What is present in the continuous tense? Please raise your hand. What is a continuous tense? Ji Iman.
Teacher, in a continuous tense, we will identify it because it has the ing form of verb.
Very good. Correct answer, Iman. Good. Remember students, a continuous tense is a tense which is in continuation, either present, past or future. Okay, it is in continuation, and the best way to identify a continuous tense, it is in present participle, like it has ing with it. Going, buying, swing, sleeping, coming, rowing, whatever it is. Okay. In passive voice, there is passive of present continuous and past continuous. There is no passive of future continuous. Please remember this thing. There is no passive of future continuous. There is passive of present continuous and past continuous. Now, obviously, if a sentence is like this, the man is hitting a small boy. The man is hitting a small boy. Now students, obviously the tense is present continuous. Why present? Because the helping verb is. The man is hitting. Right now the action is being done at the moment. Like right now the teacher is explaining active passive voice. This is also present continuous because the action is happening at the moment. So if it is present continuous, it is obvious you have to use the same helping verb is RM. But what else we need to put? In present continuous and in past continuous. In the passive voice, we put the word being, B-E-I-N-G, because the continuous is in ing form. So in passive voice, you have to put being, B-E-I-N-G, being. And then the same third form of verb. For example, the same example if I tell you, the man is hitting a small child, you will write it. Object is a small child. You will write a small child is being hit by the man. Hit, the hit has the same three forms: hit, hit, hit. In simple present it is hit, in simple past it is hit, and in past participles it is hit. Like cut, 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 burst, 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 shirt, 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 hit, hit, hit. They have the same three forms. So be very careful in that. So you are going to write it like this: a small child is being hit by the man, because we have to use only the third form, past participle. So in the continuous tense, which extra word we are going to put? We have to put being. You can see now. You can also note down the structures in your rough copy. In continuous tense, we put being with the helping verbs. Simple present of passive voice. This is the structure of passive voice. Object is RM, being third form of verb by subject. Simple past, object plus was verb. The only difference, the whole structure you can see on your screen, that the whole structure is the same, only the change comes in the helping verb. With the helping verb, we can identify that it is a simple present or a simple past tense. Okay? For example, if I say, I am painting the doors. Oh, sorry. I was painting the doors. Now, I was painting. Past continuous. I was painting. Now I'm not painting. I was painting. I was painting the doors. Now you are supposed to change it into passive. The doors, plural. So we have to put were. The doors, object, were being, third form of paint, painted by me. The objective pronoun of I is me. All of you know what are the objective pronouns? Like subjective pronouns come in the beginning of a sentence. Objective pronouns come at the end of a sentence. Like me, him, her, them. These are all objective pronouns. Ji Fatma?
Yeah, I'm saying that can I tell the objective pronouns?
Now you can tell. I've explained. Yes.
I, me,
Hmm.
you remains you,
Correct.
we, us,
Correct.
they, them,
Correct.
she, her.
Very good. Correct answer. So beta, when we are putting pronouns in the end, then we have to put the objective pronouns. The examples, I've only given the examples in past tense. The door is being knocked at by me, and its present tense is I am knocking at the door. I am knocking at the door is being knocked at by me. He is being spoiled by his mother spoiled him. So he is being spoiled by his mother is spoiling him. Sorry, his mother is spoiling him. Whenever there is ing, we have to put being. Okay, so remember this thing, be very careful. Now the next and the last, because passive voice does not have any perfect continuous. Okay, but only simple present, simple past, simple future, present continuous, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect. As I've told you, in continuous tense, we put being in the passive voice. In perfect tense, we put been with the past participle. Continuous, we put being, and perfect, we put being. The helping verbs remain the same, not is RM. Whatever the helping verb is in the active voice, the helping verb will remain the same in the passive voice. Okay, for example, uh, he has rung the bell. He has rung the bell. All of you know, students, that in perfect tense we are using the past participle, so everything remains the same except you have to put be. He has rung the bell. The bell has been rung by him. Okay, so rung will remain the same, and if it is in plural, then we have to put have. Otherwise, it will remain has. Okay, so he has rung the bell. The bell has been rung by him. Ji Fatma?
Teacher, subject and object change their places.
Yes. Yes.
Then
Obviously.
teacher, we will not write the bell was rung by him.
The bell has been rung by. He has rung the bell. The bell has been rung by. Okay. We will not put was in perfect tense. We have to put has or have. In past perfect, we put had. In future perfect, we put will have. Please note down these structures of passive voice. Okay, present perfect,
Okay.
past perfect, and future perfect. If the object is singular, we will put has in present. If the object is plural, we will put have. Okay? You can note it down. Okay. Now, for example, if I ask you different sentences, and you can tell me one by one. Yes, Iman, the first sentence.
Yes.
He is making a picture.
A picture is being made by him.
Good, very good. A picture is being made by him. It is in continuous tense. Okay. Second sentence, Fatma.
Yes.
You like mangoes. You like mangoes.
Mangoes are liked. Mangoes were liked by
No,
me.
Fatma, you were correct in the start. I'm saying you like
Mangoes
mangoes
are
because
mangoes
like,
are liked by me.
yes, because it is in present tense, simple present. You like mangoes. Mangoes are liked by you. If I say you liked mangoes, then you will say mangoes were liked by. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
Next, Umema. Yes, Umema. Yes. They had not finished the project. They had not finished the project.
The project had not been finished by them.
Good. The project had not been the same thing. Past perfect. The helping verb will remain the same. Had the third form of verb, obviously it is the third form of verb, so it will also remain the same. You only have to put be. Okay. Yes, Iman. One more sentence, then I will explain further.
Okay.
Yes. The sentence is Rabia will write an assignment.
An assignment will be an assignment will be written by Rabia.
Very good. Correct answer. Okay. So students, I've explained to you the main rules of passive voice, that in passive voice we put helping verbs, then we put by and the third form of verbs, subject and object exchange their places. जी फातिमा?
टीचर मान ने जो बताया उसमें will have been नहीं होगा.
No, beta. It's simple future tense. If it is will have na in the active voice, then it will have been in the passive voice. Okay, so it was simple future tense. She will write an assignment. She will write. If I ask like that, she will have written an assignment. Then you will say an assignment will have been written by her. Okay? Okay. So you need it's extremely important that you need to identify the tense. Then when you identify the tense, then it becomes easy for you people to change it into passive voice. Okay. Now students, uh, these are just a few examples. The hunter killed the lion was killed by the hunter, someone has cleaned the windows have been cleaned by someone. Passive forms are made up of the verb be with the past participle. Be means the helping verb. It can be is, have been, was being, will be. English is spoken all over the world. The windows have been cleaned. Lunch was being served. These are all in passive voice. The work will be finished soon. Same examples. Yes. Now there are two. You can see two objects. I give him a book for his birthday. Now the direct object is him, because what actually doing, I'm giving him a book. So he, the subjective pronoun of him is he. He, it is gave, so simple past tense. He was given a book for his birthday by me. Or you can write it like this: he was given a book by me for his birthday. You can either take this for his birthday at the end because it is a phrase. Okay. Someone sent her a check for 1,000 euros. So her is used for she. She was sent a check by someone for 1,000 euros. Okay. Phrasal verbs are verbs which have a preposition with them. They called off the meeting was called off. His grandmother looked after him, he was looked after by his grandmother. They will send him away to school, he will be sent away to school by them. Okay. Do you understand, students? So generally you have to just follow the structure, that you have to bring the object, the direct object. It is extremely important that if there are two or three objects in a sentence, you have to focus on the direct object, like what actually the subject is doing. Okay. And in the beginning of a sentence, you have to use subjective pronouns. If there is objective pronouns, you have to turn them into subjective pronouns. And if there's a subjective pronoun, you have to turn them into objective pronouns. Yes. Now you can open your books. It's page number, I think we did it before, 74 page number. But we can do it again. Yes, Fatma.
Can I tell the first sentence?
Yes, first page number 74. Yes, do it.
Hina, Hina sings a song. A song was sung by Hina.
No. Hina sings a song. Sings is in simple present tense, Fatma. Hina sings a song. A song is sung by Hina. Please write it down as well. Okay? You can write it in simple present because sings is the verb in simple present tense. Okay? Hina sings a song. A song is sung. Third form of sing is sung by Hina. Yes. Who will do the second one? Call in the doctor at once. It is not starting with the subject. It is starting with the verb. Sometimes when we are using, I will discuss all these sentences as well, that sometimes imperative sentences are sentences which offer command or request, and we start them with a word, then you have to put let before them. Okay, for example, you can look at the second sentence. Call in the doctor at once. So it is starting with the word call. It is an imperative sentence. Please write it down in front of it so that you can remember. Later on, you can do this exercise in your copy. Now, imperative sentences, you are going to start them with let. Let, the object is the doctor. Let the doctor be called in at once. Okay? Let the doctor be called in at once. The third form of call is called, and in these sentences we put be with the third form of verb. Please note it down, be with the third form of verb, because participle remains the same, past participle. And imperative sentences start with let. Let the doctor be called in at once. Like for example, if I say open the door, it is also an order. Let the door be opened. Polish the shoes. Let the shoes be polished. Okay, very simple sentences. There is no like confusion in such sentences. You just have to start them with let. Ji Fatma.
Can I tell the next?
You have told, now it's first. I will also ask you in the end. Yes, Umema. Number third.
Teacher, can you repeat the number 2?
Beta, number 2 is, I have told you, these are imperative sentences. Imperative sentences begin with let. After let, you have to put the object. So, let, object is the doctor. Let the doctor be called in at once. Okay? Let the doctor be called in, B-E-B, called in at once. Now tell me
Okay, now
third one.
continue.
Hmm.
Grandpa told us an interesting story. An interesting story was told by Grandpa.
What is the direct object to Mama? Look at the sentence again. G. Umema,
Yes,
beta, look at the sentence. Now, what is the direct? There are two objects in it. What is the direct sentence? Grandpa told us. Us is the direct object. So, you have to begin it, bring it in the start. Okay, now change it.
an interesting.
We. Yes,
What, teacher?
we. You have to bring the direct object in the start. The direct object is us. So us
Yes,
is the objective pronoun. What is the subjective pronoun of us?
we.
We. Now change it. Change it.
Teacher, I can't understand it.
Beta see. Grandpa told us an interesting story. Okay? The direct object is us. So we, past, simple past, were told an interesting story by grandpa. We were told an interesting story by grandpa. Okay, so you have to focus on the direct object. The direct object is us. We were told an interesting, some students write it like this, an interesting story was told to us by grandpa. This is also correct, but grammatically we are focusing on the direct object. So the direct object is us. We were told an interesting story by grandpa. Okay? Yes. Iman,
Yes.
next one.
Neha's father praised her. She was praised by Neha's father.
Correct answers. Simple, like her is the direct object, so you have to bring it in the start. She praised, simple past tense, was praised by Neha's father. Yes, Fatma. Last one.
Yes, teacher, can you repeat the fourth one?
She was praised by Neha's father. Her is the object now, so we have to put it in the start. She, okay, it is in simple past, so we have to put helping verb was or were. So we will put was and praised. Third form of praise is praised. She was praised by Neha's father. Okay.
People formed a queue on the road.
Hmm.
A queue was formed by the people on the road.
Correct answer. Good. A queue was formed by people on the road. On the road is a phrasal. It's a phrase, so you have to put it at the end. Okay?
Teacher, I want to ask a question. In
Gigi.
sentence number 3, you were saying that we can write an interesting story was told to us by
No.
grandpa. Can we write
I am
this?
saying that if we are writing it like this, it makes sense. But we have to follow the rules. According to the rules, we have to bring the direct object in the start. So grandpa told us an interesting story. So we were told an interesting story by grandpa. Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Now students, I have to tell you which definitions you have to learn and which things you have to learn, so just put a tick mark. First you have to put a tick mark in the definition in the blue box, active voice. When the subject of the sentence is the doer of the action, the verb is said to be in the active voice. This is the definition. Okay. You can write it like the teacher praised me for my efforts. Okay, any sentence you can write. So Sonia changed the flat tire on her car. The sentence is about Sonia and she is doing the action. Okay, so changed is the transitive verb and it is in active voice. In the second column you can see, in a sentence when the subject is not the doer of the action but is acted upon by the verb, it is said to be in the passive voice. Rules of passive voice I have already told you. So put a tick mark on this. You have to learn this definition. The flat tire was changed by Sonia. Now students, I've explained to you people that simple, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. There is no passive of perfect continuous. Okay. He makes pots. He is making pots. He has made pots. He has been making pots. He makes pots. Pots are made by him. Pots are being made by him. Pots have been made by him. No passive. You just remember the formula that in simple present tense. That is why I hope that you people have noted down the rules which I've told you in simple present, or you can write it like this. Helping verbs are is, are, am, and we always put the third form of verb. Then you can see he's making pots, continuous, so we have to put being. He has made pots, perfect tense, we have to put being. Okay. Similarly, in past tense, he made pots. Pots were made by him. He was making pots. Pots were being made by him. All the things remains the same. Only the change comes in the helping verbs. He had made pots already. The helping verb is giving had, and made is the third form of verb. So we only have to put been in that. Pots had been made by him. Future tense, he will make pots. Pots will be made by him. He will be making pots. No passive voice. He will have made pots. Pots will have been made by him. ठीक है? Yes, beta. You can ask me, Fatma. Yes.
Teacher,
Hmm.
in the definition of active voice, the
Yes.
example is Sonia changed the flat tire on her car. And in the example of passive voice, it is the flat tire was changed by Sonia. And in the exercise A, it is rewrite these sentences in the passive voice. So can we write like this? I'm just
A queue
asking,
was
I am
formed.
confused.
You can write it like this. A queue was formed by people. You are saying that you don't need to write on the road.
What?
You are saying that you will not. You don't want to write on the road in this sentence.
No, like in the third sentence, you told us that we have to change with rules. But it is not written we have to use rules.
Beta, this grammar. In grammar, we have to follow the rules. Okay? We have to
Teacher, I
follow the
am
rules, na?
confused.
Don't be confused. When you will practice it, na, you will understand it. Basically, we need to focus on the direct object. Direct object is object which is
Okay.
coming directly after the verb mostly. What actually the